Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Southside Agenda podcast with Charlie and Zidane. Hope you guys enjoyed last episode. And the last episode was a while ago, as last week we had lots of technical difficulties. And frankly, the whole episode as a whole was not what we wanted, to put out. We didn't think it was of quality, and there was a bunch of audio issues. So we were like, let's take 1 week off. We got lots of school stuff to do, but we'll come back, once we're more settled into school. But I think we got to preface this first. Just the absolute amazing White Sox gear we both have on right now. I got and if you're watching this on YouTube, which you should be, we got the White Sox Field of Dreams shirt with Eloy on the back and Zidane wearing the Sunday jersey hats. And yeah, I don't think we have anything to go over. Actually, yes, I've been getting some weird notifications on this computer that I'm using. So if you hear those notifications, just ignore that. I don't know if I'll get any, but whatever. And I switched computers from last episode, I believe. It's been so long since we put out an episode, and my face just looks so like clear and like bright white. So if you're watching it on YouTube and you're like, what is this? What is with Charlie's background? What's with his face? That's why. But without further ado, Zidane, we're super excited to make this episode. It's gonna be a fun one. What do we got?
Well, it's interesting you don't mention, Charlie, that Lucas Giolito got to meet a few local celebrities, and we went to a game together. But if you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to. But obviously, Charlie, I believe Sunday the 28th or 9th, White Sox, Cubs, guaranteed rate field, Dylan Cease on the mound. Me and Charlie both there. And Charlie, what a game we got to watch.
I'll start it off by showing the picture. I'm trying to pull it up on my phone real quick because this is just, I'm going to be showing lots of pictures on my phones because we're doing a segment that involves pictures. So just watch it on YouTube, guys. Like, I guess if you're out and about, listen to it on Spotify or whatever, but watch it on YouTube. It gets us more views on YouTube. And, you never really see our faces or see our backgrounds or see, our facial expressions on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. But here we go. I'll start it off. Hopefully it can focus back on my face after I show the camera this. But this is me, Zidane, and Lucas Giolito before the game. And after Giolito, Giolito, by the way, was there for at least an hour, I think, 15 minutes, 45 minutes before the game, signing autographs, taking pictures. And he's just a model professional. He's a really nice guy. He's not out there. He's more laid back, but he was still nice enough to take pictures and sign autographs for fans. So that was really nice. And me and Zidane got to take a picture, as you saw there. And then Andrew Vaughn came over for 10 minutes. But we were the next in line, I guess you would say, because he was on, what is it? That's the third base line. And we were up against the netting. And he's like, all right, last one, guys. By the way, people who you see Zidane on YouTube. People who bring baseball cards for him to sign. I guess if you just want his signature or want the same, it's pretty cool. But they have 10 cards, right? And they're putting them through the holes in the netting, and they're bending the card. Now you can't sell it. Like, Andrew Vaughn's going to be a good player. Once you have his autograph, you're bending the card. That card doesn't go for any value. I was in the card game for a little bit at the start of this year, and the one thing I remember is the card needs to be perfect for it to actually cost money. So many people were doing that, and we couldn't get a picture. All we wanted was a picture. So that was pretty annoying. But yes, Zidane, that was an awesome game, and I keep telling Zidane, every game that if he's with me for a game, the game will be good. I have never been to a bad White Sox game in my whole entire life. Yes, we've lost a bunch of the games I've been to, but they've never been actually bad games. Zidane has been to a couple bad games, but the first time we watch like a full-length game together and like are really invested in it's a big game is the Field of Dreams game. And then we watch a White Sox Cubs game and we just absolutely battered them. So I guess that's pretty cool. But just to say the time right now, it's 5:30, September 1st on Wednesday. Game 2 versus the Pirates is on at 7. So we'll get this out before then. But yes, Zidane, that was a fun intro. But what do we got planned for today?
Absolutely, Charlie. We've just run through the Gauntlet. White Sox are basically out of it. We still have another Oakland series, Red Sox series, and then I believe it's a fun series. The Angels come to town. But really, Charlie, the main guys are over. We got a pretty easy schedule after this. Yankees, Athletics, Rays, Blue Jays. Those are the teams. Those are the series. We have to talk about the main takeaways, and not really series to series, kind of overlapping because these are all really good teams. Sure, the Yankees were really hot, but still, A's, Rays. I mean, you're talking about the top of the AL right here. 3 in the same division, which is crazy. But anyway, we're going to look at some overarching, narratives, storylines, stuff we noticed, bullpen, definitely going to have to talk about that kind of stuff. And then, Charlie, a very fun segment, one we tried to do, kind of messed up, but we're here, we're back, and we're going to do it well because we care about this topic. It's a cool topic, Charlie. New City Connect jerseys, the 7 they have released so far. We will be ranking them, telling you our opinions. I'd say generally positive, some not so much, but we're going to talk about it. We enjoyed some, didn't like some. That's what we're here for. Charlie, you want to start us off?
Yeah, just to start us off, like you said, 7-7 in the Gauntlet. So we split the Gauntlet over 14 games. And I think the main question is, was that what you were expecting? Was that, are you happy with that? Are you sad with that? Me personally, I'm going to say it, I'm a little disappointed because I would wish to come out with a winning record, at least a winning record by like over 2 games or 3 games, because there's many winnable games. But Zidane, what did you think?
Well, Charlie, I think you just talked about it right there, but I think really we should have a winning record. The close games were really close games. I mean, Yankees, they beat us well and fine, but they're still pretty close. But I think to the Blue Jays series, I think it's either the second or third game, Craig Kimbrell wild pitch. It's like a 3-1 loss. That easily winnable. And sometimes, I mean, outside of a few games from the Rays, the last 2 games of the Rays series where the offense looked asleep without Tim, they're really close games. These are 2-3-run games that White Sox could have easily won. So yes, we did go 7-7, Charlie, but I think White Sox fans could look back on this Gauntlet and say, with how the offense is playing right now, I think you got to be pretty happy so far. But Charlie, we said we were going to talk about takeaways. So let's start it off. Charlie, what's your first big takeaway from maybe a certain series or just overall?
Yeah, so my first takeaway is I'm just going to go back in time a little bit with this topic. The deadline. It's deadline day of a free agency and just everything, right? So many free agents getting moved. But what did we do? We got Tepera, we got Kimbrel, we got Cesar. But this Kimbrel deal was supposed to fix the 8th inning. And Zidane, is the 8th inning fixed?
I think it may be worse than ever, Charlie.
It may be worse than ever. I think that's a perfect way to put it. Again, 8th and 9th inning guys, Liam Hendriks and Craig Kimbrel. Craig Kimbrel has been just flat out disappointing. Obviously, you're going to see some great signs over the course of, however many games he's played from that good of a closer, that good of a reliever, whatever you want to call him. But I'm going to say we paid a lot, but you know what I mean. We gave up a lot for Craig Kimbrel. We gave up our starting second baseman, obviously not at the time because of injury. And we gave up Cody Hoyer, a guy that I think, and we both think, could be a good closer in the future. And it's disappointing. But there's really only one question, because they're both 2 really, really good players. What is your ideal 8th and 9th inning for the playoffs?
See, that's an interesting question, Charlie, and I don't know if anyone can really answer that. I don't know how Tony La Russa could answer that, Charlie, because you have Liam Hendriks, who at some points, I'd say most of the time, Charlie, looks like one of the best relievers in baseball, like top 2, top 1, like insane. He 100%. Strikes out 3, doesn't give up a hit. And then you have him against the Yankees and him sometimes against other teams where, sure, he gets out of it usually, but the control is not always there. When Liam's slider isn't really working, it kind of becomes one-dimensional, really. Like his fastball will always be perfection. But once you don't have another off-speed pitch, you can't really do much. When Liam has a slider and a curve, that's when he becomes like Aroldis Chapman with Pine Tar, unhittable. And then you have Craig Kimbrell, where at some points this year, I think at one of these A's games, he strikes out 3, doesn't give up a hit. I think it's one of those games where it goes Kopech, Kimbrell, and Liam all at their top, all balling out. You see that Craig Kimbrell, and you're like, oh my God, like this dude, and then you got Liam Hendricks. Like, that's insane. But then you see the Blue Jays series, and you see some other series, and other games, and other outings, and you're like, we gave up Nick Madrigal, first of all. And I understand, like, Cesar right now, probably better than Nick Madrigal, but Nick Madrigal is such a part of the clubhouse. I mean, top second base prospect in all of baseball, like, what, a year ago?
He would be the better hitter than Cesar as of right now, definitely. Not the better defender, but definitely the better hitter.
Definitely the better hitter. And you send him to the Cubs, so that hurts a little more. And then Corey Hior, who's already balling out for the Cubs, and I think in the future can too. But to trade that for Craig Kimbrell, steep price. Also, Craig Kimbrell's contract. He's getting paid like a closer, as he should, but he's getting paid like a closer. And in his time with us, Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe from his baseball reference page, he has a 4.22 ERA in about 15 innings.
It sounds about right. He came in with a 0 ERA, right? Or around
exactly,
0.
Charlie.
Or was it
0?
So
if you look at Craig Kimbrell's stats right now, I think it's like 1.9 something. And you're like, wow, that's really good. You're right. But from 0 to 1.92 in 15 innings, that takes quite a lot of work. So again, I go back to the basic question: who starts the 9th? Who starts the 8th? And Charlie, I may have posed this before. I don't know. But let's look at the Brewers. All right. I think in the last, say, like 10 games, whatever the state is, you have Josh Hader recently has been 6 for 6 in save opportunities. Then you got Devin Williams, who's been 3 for 3. Then you got Brad Boxberger, underrated dude. I mean, we're never really going to talk about that dude. But if we ever do talk about the Brewers, I don't know, maybe I move to Milwaukee and become a Brewers fan.
Maybe a World Series.
Maybe. That dude's underrated lefty. He has 1-for-1 save opportunities. And now, Charlie, you may be wondering, where's the Don going with this? I am too. But all 3 of those guys got save opportunities. Obviously, Hader got 6. Devin Williams got 3. Boxberger got 1. Now, really ignore Boxberger because I don't think you're going to see Michael Kopech or Aaron Bummer much save opportunities. But I've always thought about it. Can't you switch off? Kind of. Now, let me talk about this. Both are very good in the 9th inning. Both could work in the 8th, but Craig right now is just not doing it. I think it's mainly a mental thing. Like, I think we may have talked about this at the game, Charlie. Closers run off adrenaline. Liam Hendricks needs that adrenaline. If Liam Hendricks doesn't have that, it's not the same type of pitcher. He's not putting that much force in that fastball, doing as much as he can. And Craig Kimbrell may not show it, but I feel like he thrives off of it. And in the 8th inning, he's just not getting that. So I say, in a series, Charlie, 3-game series, Liam Hendricks saves the first game. Now, let's say he may have to work a little. Maybe this is one of Liam Hendricks' games where he doesn't have the slider. Maybe he walks 1 or 2 guys, but he gets out of it. The next night, do we put Liam back out there? Or your bullpen is deep enough where you can put a Tepera in the 8th inning. And Charlie, I'm perfectly fine with Tepera in the 8th inning. I trust that dude. So
we've done that a few times over the past couple of games as well.
You could put in a Bummer. I don't believe he's injured. I think he's still there. So Bummer, maybe a Crochet if you save a Kopech. And then boom, you have a fresh, clean Craig Kimbrell for the 9th. Personally, if I was the manager of the White Sox, I would say, all right, switch off these dudes for save opportunities. If one's struggling, put the other in the 9th inning and just kind of do that because dudes aren't really that selfish guys. I mean, we've seen them talk about it. Liam, during the Field of Dreams game, he got interviewed, and I think he said, no, I'm not worried about, Craig coming in. We're a team. We're a bullpen. These are my guys. I'm just happy to have a better one. Like, there's no animosity between him and Craig. They're professionals. They do this for a living. No matter what, Charlie, Liam Liam and Craig are going to get paid. So I say switch off save opportunities. One in the 9th, next day, the other in the 9th. I mean, that's the best solution I have right now, Charlie. It's a tough situation.
Yeah, I think right now I would probably agree with you, but come playoff time or come a little bit before playoff time, you need to develop some consistency. And I think, I know I want Liam in the 9th. I want Liam in the 9th. We got him. He's our closer. He was here first. And I know he thrives off that energy the most because you see him sometimes, if he's getting like the 5-out save or whatever, 6-out save, he's not jumping up and going crazy in the 8th inning. He's jumping up and going crazy in the 9th inning. He's not screaming in the 8th inning. Again, I'm sure Kimbrel thrives off that as well. And him being a Hall of Fame closer, he probably does thrive off that because if you don't thrive off of being in the 9th inning and thrive off that pressure, you're not really going to do well. And that's why I think Liam goes 9. Kimbrel is 8. Just try Kimbrel in the 8th. Try Kimbrel in the 9th. He's going to get better in the 8th. I'm just going to say it. He will improve. And if he doesn't, then I'm not really sure where to go from there. But he will. He's been in the playoffs before, and he will learn. He has learned. He's going to pitch in the 9th. He's going to pitch in the 8th, sorry. Liam will pitch in the 9th, and we will win us a World Series. If they are on and our hitting is on, we can win a World Series. It's as simple as that. But easier said than done. Kimbrel needs to get it fixed up, and I think that's about it for that topic, Zon, if you don't have anything more to add.
I don't.
All right, so the next topic is a very heated topic on White Sox Twitter. And speaking of White Sox Twitter, if you guys don't follow us on Twitter, it is at Southside Agenda. Make sure you guys follow us on there and on YouTube, the Southside Agenda. TikTok, we will be posting more clips after this episode comes out. I say it every episode. I slack on the clips. I'm sorry. That's just how I do it. I'm sorry. I got to put in the effort. But yeah, the heated topic on White Sox Twitter. And first, we kind of named this as the Ronaldo Lopez segment, but it really is Ronaldo and Keuchel segment because when someone talks about Keuchel, they talk about Raylo. When someone talks about Raylo, they talk about Keuchel. They kind of go hand in hand. Close it on. We got to talk about that first Cubs game because that game was an absolute. I don't know. I can't find the word to describe that game, but Keuchel comes in, right? Gives up 6. Lewis is like, screw that. Ronaldo Lopez is coming in. We're going to stretch him out, and he's going to pitch. He's going to pitch 5 innings. And what does he use it on? He pitches 5 no-hit innings, and the White Sox come back to win it. And realistically, that might happen more and more if Keuchel doesn't get his act together. I think there's really no other way to put it. But the question is come playoff time, who makes the roster? And last episode, it was a question. Now, it's not. It's not a question. It's not a question anymore. Keuchel in his last 7 starts, 7.43 ERA, 14 Ks, and 19 walks. That's not going to get it done. And when you're a guy pitching to good teams, again, we don't play good teams all season, but we play good teams in the playoffs every single game. And when you're a contact pitcher, I don't know if contact pitchers are going to work out in this year's playoffs, especially in the American League, because you have some teams that can really bop the ball. And you talk about the Rays, you talk about the Yankees. Yankees in the playoffs, again, they don't really fulfill their expectations, but they can kill us. They can kill really any team with their bats. And Keuchel in the playoffs, I am not too fond of right now. And really, in the 2017 World Series championship year for the Astros, he wasn't really that good. He posted like a 4 or something ERA. Talked about that before. But Zidane, what is it with Raylo that makes him good? And I say Raylo, Ronaldo Lopez. What is it about Lopez that shows the improvement? Obviously, he had the LASIK eye surgery, but obviously that's not the whole thing. Maybe it is. Who knows? But what have you noticed specifically with Ronaldo Lopez?
Troy, it's a kind of tough question because I feel with Dylan Cease, and I'll be honest, I didn't do much of this analysis. I kind of just watched the broadcast and they're like, oh, we changed his release point. I think early on in the year, not even before the year, I think about like 3 starts in, he started to change his release point and it's like, whoa, slider's really working. Curve's really working. And Dylan has kept with that and dominated of his late. Troy, Ronaldo Lopez is just a different person. He's a different pitcher. I mean, I can't think about watching any Ronaldo Lopez inning, game, year, and having that same optimism, same comfortability watching that pitcher. He's just been absolutely dominant. I mean, his breaking balls have looked perfect. I mean, that slider, when he comes in relief, that slider has looked beautiful. That fastball has definitely been able to work with him to fool hitters. I mean, it is nice break on it. Slider's perfect. I mean, just so swift. It's beautiful watching, especially after watching Dallas Keuchel pitch. And I mean, I want to see Dallas in the playoffs, but not this Dallas. And you may be like, what? No, I want to see Dallas Keuchel in the playoffs, but I don't want the 6 ERA Dallas Keuchel. I want Dallas Keuchel who has control because I like the guy. He's a good player when he has control, and he just does not have it at all right now. I mean, largely through the year, he hasn't had much of it as late. But, I mean, it just has to be Ronaldo. I mean, I don't see any other way where Dallas Keuchel starts over Ronaldo at this point. Obviously, if Dallas Keuchel has a great September, and we both would love to see that, Charlie, he obviously sneak in there. He is worth a lot of money. You did sign him for his veteran experience. He's been in the playoffs with Houston and the Braves recently, back in the NLDS. But you just got to go Ronaldo, Charlie, because if Ronaldo can give you 5 innings of great pitching, even, that is perfectly enough in the playoffs. When you've got more bullpen pieces with the expanded rosters and stuff, and you have such a dominant bullpen, so deep too, just has to be Ronaldo. Charlie, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking playoffs right here, and we're gonna go with a 4-man rotation, and it's going to be, honestly, I'll be honest, Giolito is my game 1 starter, so I go Giolito, and then maybe Lynn, Rodon, and then Cease. Ronaldo Lopez isn't going to start in the playoffs. He's going to make the roster over Dallas Keuchel. And yes, if we need someone to start if something goes wrong, it's Ronaldo Lopez. That's the only answer. And Ronaldo Lopez is the first, according to MLB Stats Twitter account, he's the first White Sox reliever to go 5 perfect innings since 1917. It's a weird stat, something that you don't get the opportunity to, be in contention for that often, but it's still pretty interesting. And you got lots of people shouting out Ronaldo for his work. And I like the stretch role that he's in right now. And I like it for Kopech. Listen, it will happen at least once or twice in the playoffs where one of our starters will screw up here, or they just get bad luck. It happens. Lance Lynn, I mean, the other day, 80-something pitches in like 4 innings with just a bunch of walks. It'll happen. Sometimes these pitchers lose control. They're not automatic. They're not robots. Kopech goes in. Ronaldo goes in. But right now it's looking like Ronaldo Lopez can be that stretch guy if anything goes wrong. And one thing I want to say is, listen, Ronaldo Lopez has not done this consistently against good teams this season. So we haven't really seen it, but I don't want this to happen. But I kind of would be interested in if like Rodon kind of screws up against the Red Sox and Lopez can be stretched out. Then it'll really give us an idea of what he can do against, the good bad. Red Sox, they have a bunch of good players. JD Martinez. I mean, you could go on, whatever. Kike Hernandez. I love Kike Hernandez, by the way. But I mean, that's really it for Raylo. We're on the topic of Keuchel, Zidane. Not Keuchel, sorry, Kopech. Kopech has not been himself over the past couple of starts, not starts, of outings. What do you notice from him?
Well, Troy, his fastball just hasn't been the same. I don't really know how to describe, but whenever before recently, when you watched Kopech, you saw it kind of pop that fastball, where they had that little extra movement where it went back inside perfectly into the glove. Same speed, but just that different type of final kind of rotational movement where it just completely fool hitters. Same with this slider. It would just have that perfect, right as you saw it, just perfect break. I mean, go right in the catcher's glove. And again, I don't know how to describe it really. Just a pop with the break, where it's just super swift,
really
kind
sharp.
of like a Jacob deGrom. Sharp. Thank you, Charlie. That is the word I've been looking for. Sharp break on that right at the end of that rotation. That was last few. Looks perfect. Fools hitters, because I mean, I've never stepped into a batter's box against Michael Kopech, but I may be able to guess that that's not very fun to hit against. And obviously, we talked about he's struggling, so it's just not been there. That sharp break, at least on the fastball, slider's still there, but a little bit less. But that fastball, velocity's always going to be there, but the break is just a lot less. It's a lot more straight. It's a lot less that late movement.
It's exactly what it is, I think.
Is what makes it so special. That late movement where by almost the time it's in the catcher's glove, it's still moving. That late break is what makes pitchers so well. And that's why you saw a lot of pitchers use sticky stuff. It's because it was that late break where really full hitters were at the end, it would just swerve on them. They'd have no idea. Kopech just hasn't had that as of late. I think we'll gain it, but at least for now, it's not looking good, Charlie, because even when you're throwing 98, 99, MLB hitters are nowadays, everyone's doing that. You have like the league average is 94, 95, I think now. That's really high. When you have guys like Kyle Hendricks throwing 91, and then Jacob deGrom averaging 102, that is insane. And so many people are throwing fast, throwing hard. Hitters are going to catch up to that fastball. You need that break. Michael Kopech hasn't had that. He'll definitely get it back. Both me and Charlie know that. But right now, it's a kind of a precarious situation because everyone talks about it, Charlie. Playing for the playoffs. Kopech, Craig, Liam. There you go. When Kimbrel's struggling and then Kopech now both throws into a bit of disarray. Charlie, you asked me. Now I ask you. What do you think about it?
I think what it is with Kopech is it's two things. It's what you just said about, the late movement on the fastball and the late break on the slider. But he's really getting a lot of contact, right? Like he's looking like I'm blanking. Who was the pitcher that was giving up a lot of contact? I mean, Bummer, right? Was it Bummer's location or
Crochet?
Crochet, yes, Crochet. Crochet was giving up a lot of contact when he was struggling. By the way, someone who has greatly improved. Kopech, lots of contact. And I think the only way to describe this, maybe one of the only ways, is he might have been tipping his pitches. Hitters might have been figuring him out. And I think that that's what it was. But we'll keep that one short and sweet. I think that was some good analysis from Zidane there. I totally agree. And as a bridge to the next, not really a bridge, but a little break before we go into ranking the City Connect jerseys, I want to go over a little bit of news that's happened in the past couple of days with the White Sox. More relating to injuries. Tim Anderson on the 10-day IL with some hamstring tightness. He was benched a lot after that game that he completely carried against the Rays in game 1 of that series. And he's been in and out of the lineup. And now, the last 3 or 4 games? So there's that. And then Giolito last night in game 1 of the Pirates 2-game set, he was going to field I don't think this was a bunt. I think it was just like a bunt hit, not intentional, but something that came off the bat with weak contact. He goes to step and his knee buckles a little bit. He slips as well. But when the White Sox released it, it's actually hamstring tightness and not, nothing he tore in his knee. I'm praying. Me and Zidane actually, we eat lunch together at school. And what I told him was, I think it might be a little bit like the Kopech situation where he's out for a couple of weeks. And especially with the playoffs coming up, I think that's what La Russa will do. That's what Katz and La Russa and the training staff will agree on. Because, again, I mean, we don't know if it's that serious. But if it is, that's definitely what they're going to do. Because, listen, this same little situation would be happening a couple weeks from now anyway, leading up to the playoffs, with Tim getting rest and some of the starters getting rest and, the relievers getting some spot starts like Michael and Raylo. But it's just coming at an earlier time. Obviously, it's not good because they're actually injured. But that's it. But Zidane, the roster moves. Zidane, talk a little bit about that. A new rookie coming up.
I forget how to say the first name. Is it
Romy
Gonzalez? Absolutely raking in AAA, 23 home runs, batting .275. As I said, absolutely raking. Is being called up with his Tim injury. You may see him in between there. Don't expect to see him that much. You still have Mendick and Lurie there to play short, but once in a while, we'll see him. Let's see if he makes an impact. I think he was ranked 21st best prospect in the White Sox system. Hey, maybe he jumps up some boards. Maybe he has some major league talent. Gavin Sheets, Charlie, is back.
Barry Bonds, baby.
And I believe in the lineup today.
Starting at DH.
And there's another roster move I can't think of.
Was it Burger? Was it Burger?
Not Burger.
No, Burger didn't come up. I'll go on the White Sox Twitter right now. Let me check.
But anyway, as you do that, having Sheets back is amazing. I mean, he does look like a major league talent when he's at the plate. Charlie, you have something?
Yeah, it's recalled Matt Foster from AAA Charlotte and designated Jake Lamb for assignment.
Yes. Here's R.I.P. Rake Lamb, Charlie, and it is a sad moment, but
not
I'm
really.
gonna be honest. Jake Lamb never really made an impact. Like, he had some good home runs, some good moments, but you kind of forgot he was on the team. Like, no one's forgotten Billy Hamilton is on the White Sox because people love Billy. But Jake Lamb, I'm gonna be honest, when he showed up in the lineup, I'm like, oh yeah, like he's on the team.
He's a really long rehab stint with Charlotte. It made me forget.
Mm-hmm. Well.
Oh, and Lance Lynn.
Oh.
Lance Lynn on the 10-day IL. I knew I was missing something.
Yeah. Yes, Lance Lynn is on the 10-day IL with.
Is everyone hamstring?
I think it might be hamstring.
Lance Lynn. Let's see. Well, let's see the news. It's crazy. Like, everyone in the league is having like hamstring tightness. That's what they called it.
Calf, hamstring issues.
Yeah. Why am I? Oh, right knee inflammation. That was the knee. It wasn't Giolito. It was Lance Lynn. Yeah.
Well, yeah, still leg injury.
The injury bug is moving over to the starting rotation. I don't want to see that because it got really bad in the lineup. I don't want to see it in the starting rotation. But hopefully these are 1 start or 2 start types of injuries. Sorry if you can hear trucks in the background, Liz. But yeah, Lance Lynn. Want to rank some jerseys?
I'm down to Charlie if you are.
What's in your 7th spot? Again, we got the Red Sox, the Marlins, the White Sox, the Cubs, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and the newly added Dodgers. I think these jerseys, are they going to carry on into next season? Because they're adding them at a very slow pace. They're not going to get them done. They have a lot to put out. If they want to get them done, it's like 23 more jerseys. But yeah, I mean, I think they'll carry into next season. I'm really, really excited about that. Like, there's some ones that I think could be really cool. But Zidane, what is in your 7th spot?
My 7th spot, Charlie, is one I felt could have done a lot more. It's the Los Angeles Dodgers. And now, I don't think these jerseys are that bad. I just feel they're unoriginal. They're a basic blue with blue pants with a blue hat. And their whole thing was they were trying to channel the Hispanic community in LA, which is a big community, big part of the culture. A lot of Dodgers fans are Hispanic, as Charlie shows the jerseys. What I was going to say is they added Los in front of the name, so it's Los Dodgers. Basically the same thing other than Los. I just felt they could have done more, Charlie. Like, Los Angeles is such a diverse city. Dodgers fans are really diverse too. You could have channeled a lot of your place. And I do like the Hispanic community idea. It's a great community, great for inspiration. I just felt you could have done more than add Los. I think the hat's all right, but nothing that special. I just feel the Dodgers, they're a big brand. I mean, everyone who's not a baseball fan who has a baseball hat, they got a White Sox hat, a Yankees hat, forget them, or a Dodgers hat, the usual. I just felt the Dodgers could have done more, Charlie. That's why they're in my last spot.
All right, I'll go to my 7th spot, and there's really no point in giving our thoughts because we're both going to be giving our opinions. So there's really no point for that. But my 7th spot is the Red Sox. Listen, I really don't disagree with Zidane a lot on this podcast, but this is one thing I really disagree on. I don't think you can put any jersey in 7th place other than the Boston Red Sox. We're showing it on YouTube. Again, make sure you guys watch this on YouTube as my camera tries to focus in again. But it's a yellow with a blue Boston, like just blue Boston across the chest, some blue accents on the sleeve. It's not a dark blue. It's like what's the color? That's a teal, right? It's teal, light blue. Just mustard yellow on a jersey is not really my favorite. Can my camera focus, please? But anyway, mustard yellow on a jersey is not my favorite at all. And it is supposed to resemble, again, all of these jerseys have backgrounds to them, and we'll explain that. This is supposed to resemble, or I guess honor the Boston Marathon. Again, awesome. All of these are cool ideas. All of these are awesome ideas, maybe except one. But all of these are awesome ideas. And I just don't like the execution of this. And there's a couple numbers on like the sleeves of the jersey that are supposed to resemble the marathon, but really I don't think it's that good, to be honest with you. Just I wrote down some notes, but yeah, I talked about everything I needed to. Zidane, what is in your 6th spot?
My 6th spot, Troy, is not the Boston Red Sox. It's the Chicago Cubs. And I will say there's probably a little bias here. Some may put it high, but I don't think really. I think the inspiration was Wrigleyville, which is basically the neighborhood right around Wrigley Field. You know, pretty small area of Chicago and White Cubs fans, but it's a pretty cool place. As Charlie shows the jerseys, you know, it's all blue, basically dark blue, and then light blue accents. I'll be honest, Charlie, I kind of like the hat. It's basically like a C with like a red star in the middle. It's kind of like inspiration from the Chicago flag. I do like the hat. I think it does look cool. And it's not specifically like the concept. Wrigleyville, I think they could have definitely done better. I mean, there's a lot of Cubs fans out of there, Charlie. You and me both know. They come from all over. I mean, they're a diverse community. They are. And Wrigleyville just seems like a really small part of that doesn't truly represent the group. I think there's a lot of just do Chicago, really. Like, come on, guys. Like, just do Chicago. You're part of the city. I think they could have incorporated the flag more, add a bit different colors because it's just all blue. But I think it's just really the whole jersey as a whole. I think because you just got too much blue, Charlie. Let's just say you got too much blue. Your hat's blue, cool hat, but your jersey's blue, and then your pants are the exact same color. And in game, I honestly think they look better in game. You know, when I see Ian Happ hitting a home run in, like, yeah, it could be worse. But I still think they could have just done better. I mean, Cubs have really nice jerseys, Charlie. They're white ones, they're blue ones. They're good jerseys. They are cool. I like them. Obviously, I like it when they lose, but they got cool jerseys to lose in style. The City Connect jerseys, again, Charlie, I just feel some teams could have done better. The Cubs, definitely, with the city of Chicago flag, you had the inspiration. You just could have done better. Charlie, who's in your 6th spot?
My 6th spot is the Chicago Cubs, and like Zidane said, the look of the jersey is actually pretty cool. I actually don't really mind it. It's just the Wrigleyville. Like, Wrigleyville is like it's really what Zidane said. It's a small portion of Chicago, and I think it's really just you want to resemble. I'm not gonna say all of Chicago because that would make me hypocritical, but like you want to resemble the city more, and that is just one little town in the city. I would probably say that. Like, it's like the White Sox having, like, I guess it's not really the same, but it's similar, having like Bridgeport across the chest. Like, come on. Like, I know like Wrigleyville is more of like a thing than like Bridgeport, but like that's really what you're saying in like the actual size of it. But yeah, no, but that's really all it is. The jersey's actually pretty decent in my opinion. But Zidane, starting off the top 5, who do you got?
My number 5 spot, Troy, it's the Banana Boat Crew. I honestly kind of like these jerseys. It's the Boston Red Sox. Now, I'm be honest, Charlie, when they did the whole photo shoot and the whole reveal of them with Alex Verdugo, I kind of like them. I kind of like them. Now, saying that, with the pants, I just think they play a lot worse than they actually look. You know, when you got that in Fenway Park, it just doesn't feel right, if you know what I mean. It just doesn't fit. But I'll be honest, I kind of like the yellow. Like, at some point, it does become too much when every player is wearing it. Everyone on the field is it in Fenway, like
Look like
in
traffic
game.
cones.
Well, traffic cones are orange, Troy, so you
Same
may
thing.
want to.
They're a bright color. Same thing.
I know it's a Banana Boat Crew jersey, but I don't know, Troy. I just kind of like it, but
You might as well
I just
have
don't.
9 Heinz mustard bottles sitting on the field, throwing and catching the ball.
Well, Charlie, I'm perfectly fine with that, but I just don't
Mustard is
feel it
pretty
fits
good.
with Boston. You know, when I think of Boston, I don't think of bright yellow. I understand that it's about the marathon. At least to my knowledge, I don't think the marathon's main color is that bright of a yellow.
Yeah, no, I don't know anything about the marathon's color, but yeah.
I can bet you it's not that bright of a yellow. You could have done something different on marathon. Marathon, I think, was a really, really cool idea. You got a lot of history there. It's a part of Boston. It's a tradition. It's a cool thing to do. Easy, kind of like easy, nice jersey to make, but a bit bright too. A bit too much yellow. I mean, if you were like a team in Puerto Rico, I'd kind of understand. But you're Boston, dude. You're Patriots fans. You're Celtics fans. You can't have bright yellow jerseys. That just doesn't really fit the image of being town, if you know what I mean. Like, I can't imagine Banana Boat Crew jerseys being in Fenway. It's just like, just no, that just no.
Get it out. Get it out.
Charlie, I mean, that's all I have to say. It just doesn't fit. Like, I have the Green Monster and I have Alex Verdugo in bright yellow. Come on. You could have done better. Charlie, who's in your 5 spot?
My 5 spot is the Los Dodgers jerseys, and I already showed him. Again, the look of the jersey is cool, but it's kind of like the jerseys, the all blue jerseys they were in spring training. And again, like Zidane said, the Latino community, you know, honoring that is awesome. I think they could have done better than just putting Los. Like, get those people together and ask like what resembles the community, the Latino community of Los Angeles or whatever, California as a whole. Who cares? Get them all together and be like, what should we put on this jersey? Yeah, incorporate Los, but incorporate other things on the jerseys that would make them look cooler. So that's really a short and sweet thing about the Dodgers. But this top 4 is really interesting and stuff that I would definitely go in depth in. But Zidane, what is your 4th spot?
Well, I've actually moved my top 4 around, but not for this spot, Troy. Number 4, I got the Giants. And I do want to say there was a gap between my 5 spot and my 4 spot. 4 becomes where I actually like these jerseys. Just have to say, I like these Giant jerseys. I like that they kind of did like a fog with the Golden Gate Bridge and it's on the jersey. I do like it. I just feel it's a bit too much white. And if your camera will focus, there we go, Troy. You see with like the logo where some of it's like white over it. It's, you know, the fog of San Fran. I just think they're okay jerseys. You know, they don't really stand out to me compared to these other ones on the list. I just feel it's the perfect place where it's like above average. I kind of like these jerseys, but they don't do that much for me. Charlie, I believe your 4 spot.
The Miami Marlins. This jersey is a very, very clean and slick jersey. It's a bit out there, but when you see Jazz Chisholm in this jersey, you immediately fall in love because Jazz Chisholm is one of my favorite players. Here's the jersey right here. It's just a bright red with some blue outlines on the white Miami on the cross of on the front of the jersey and some white pinstripes. Listen, I think this was supposed to resemble the Latino community as well. Am I mistaken? Yeah, okay, I'm right. I don't know how it does. I couldn't really find how it represents that, but this is a really cool jersey. And Zidane said his top 4 is where it starts, like where he starts really liking the jerseys. For me, it's the top 3, but the Marlins is not something I would buy. My top 3 are all jerseys that I would buy. Marlins, I wouldn't buy this, but this is really, really cool. And Miami, that whole team is a really out there kind of team with their colors and stuff. They've switched it over the past couple years. Their black jerseys, by the way, are awesome. They have just a bunch of fun players. Jesus Aguilar with the whole bias situation. Jazz Chisholm, fun players. They have some fun pitchers, and I think it fits. I think it fits the team pretty well, and that's why they're higher up on my list. But Zidane, what is your next jersey?
My next jersey, and this is where I switched up, is the Marlins at number 3, Troy. And I do have to say, it's really just Jazz Chisholm, I feel like, who carries this. Like, Jazz Chisholm in this jersey, just like, yeah, that's the guy I want representing Miami baseball. Just fits with Miami, bright colors, playful style. I believe it's something to do with Cuba. I can't think of it right now, but it's like Cuban independence, or that was like their style for it. Obviously, Cubans are a big part of Miami. The whole Hispanic culture is basically all of Miami. It's a big, big part, and what makes Miami so cool and such an interesting place. I feel with what they had, I feel like they did enough, but I don't think anything can compete with these next 2 jerseys. My top 2, Charlie, I would absolutely buy in a heartbeat if they weren't $400 and ran out of stock very easily. Charlie, who's your number 3 spot?
My number 3 spot is the Arizona Diamondbacks. This jersey is ridiculous. The 3 and 2 for me are probably equal, but oh my God. Like, I am a sucker for tan clothing. Like, tan clothing is awesome. Like that type of color, like khakis are cool. Like khaki, like joggers, I think those are pretty cool. Khaki, or not khaki, but like tan shirts. This is such a crazy jersey. This is so cool. If it'll focus back here. So again, please watch this on YouTube if you are on, the podcast app or anything to, go along with us. But oh my Lord, it has the serpientes, or that's snakes in Spanish, I believe. I'm in Spanish. I probably should know that, but who really likes learn Spanish in school? Not me. But that's a topic for another day. The S is a snake. The snake head runs across the S, which I think is really cool. And the T is cool. The T is like a twirl in the snake's tail. I think that's sick. But the whole tan, and I think the red number is actually a really cool accent. Towards the middle of the jerseys, towards the middle 2 buttons on the jersey. I would buy this in a heartbeat, Zidane. This is so sick. I mean, you'll talk about it, but what do you got next?
Well, Charlie, since we should say, I'll talk about that, because number 2, Los D-backs. Charlie, what I love is, one, they did their whole name, Los Serpientes, the snakes, in Spanish. And Charlie, I do really like tan clothing, but sometimes I feel like it can overdo it. And tan jerseys, I was at first like, whoa. But when you see players wear them and you see them in game and how like the whole outfit works, just perfect, Charlie. Obviously with that red, I feel like kind of pops a little bit with that tan. Charlie, there's just one word to describe. These jerseys are sexy. Like, they're great jerseys. If my number 1 wasn't my number 1, this would definitely be it. I'm not a Diamondbacks fan, but everyone can appreciate those jerseys. They are great.
I gotta show this picture. Focus.
I believe that's Eduardo or Cattell. I believe that's Cattell.
No, is that? I don't. Can you figure it out?
That might be David Peralta.
It is David Peralta. Yeah, I was gonna say. But if you are not watching on YouTube, again, you need to be watching this on YouTube to really enjoy this segment. But it's David Peralta with a snake across his neck and the Diamondback, the City Connect jerseys on in the desert. Like that's what the jersey is. It's sand. It's a desert. And yeah, like Zidane, like Zidane said, they play so well. But both of our I just have to go with my number 2. My number 2, I don't know if this is like a hot take, but this is pretty different. The San Francisco Giants. This jersey is just so clean. Again, we showed it. The white jerseys are awesome. Like pure white jersey and pure black jerseys, I think, are just really cool, and they play really well. At being basic, they play really well. Got the Golden Gate Bridge on the side, the fog with the G and the orange. But I would buy this jersey. If this was like a soccer jersey and this was like 60, $70, I would buy this in a heartbeat. Like, I'd be like, all right, I got my White Sox jerseys. I don't have the White Sox City Connect, but I want a City Connect jersey. The Giants are the ones, is the jersey I'm going to buy because it's just so clean. It goes with, more things, and you can wear it to a bunch of events. I love jerseys. Again, lots of people wearing basketball jerseys, baseball jerseys to parties. That's what I would wear. But man, these jerseys are nice. They're clean. They're slick. And how can you hate the Giants this year? They're a really good story. We'll go back to our Dodgers and Giants bet from a couple of weeks ago and see how that's going right now. But Zidane, your next jersey, it's not going to be a surprise.
Obviously, my number one is my number one. But talking about the Giants, that's getting a little bit close for my taste. Dodgers are a half game back from the Giants. So
what did I say? I said they will make a run towards the end of the season. This is the end of the season, and they are making a run.
Well, there's a month to go, Charlie, and yes. Giants are still the best team in baseball, so we'll see about that. But obviously, number one, Charlie. I mean, there's one team that is missing, and if anyone knew anything about this podcast, they'd be like, "Oh, I wonder what team it is." Charlie's obviously going to spoil my choice. He won't let me build up the drama, but it's the Chicago White Sox. They're just amazing, Charlie. They're just amazing. Like, they knocked it out of the park. The South Side, the font, the hat. The hat is...
People hate on the hat, but I like
it. It's beautiful. Like,
the
I'm a big hat guy. Charlie's a big hat guy. Shy.
This isn't really that good of a hat, the one I have on right now.
Nah, but you have better hats anyway, and obviously love this hat, but that Shy one is insane. And then the jerseys themselves, I felt like at first kind of worried, was like, this might be too much black. But after seeing it play, like, I can't imagine what the heat may be like. But other from like that human aspect, I mean, who cares? Those jerseys are insane, Charlie. I mean, and I think a lot of times I find myself like associating a jersey with a player. It's not in my closet right now, but obviously I have the Sunday jersey with Moncada. That's what I associate those Sunday jerseys. When I think of the Sunday jerseys, I think Yohan Moncada. Sadly, I think of Nick Madrigal. And I think of like Jose Abreu. Obviously, everyone else wears them, but I just think of Yohan because that's what I remember. What I remember from these City Connect jerseys, Tim Anderson. I'm just like, yeah, that fits. That's like, I can't imagine Tim Anderson. Like, that is the perfect jersey for him because he wears it so well. Like, Tim Anderson, he just puts the jersey just above everything else with him. Like,
he can wear anything. He can wear any jersey and he would look good in it.
It's just Tim Anderson takes that jersey to another level. Could have taken those Cubs jersey and put it on another level. But he doesn't have to because he plays on the better Chicago team with the better jerseys, with the City Connect jerseys. I mean, they're so cool, Charlie. I mean, I just don't know how to describe it. They are great, great, great jerseys, Charlie. Obviously, you have the same choice as me. I'm going to leave a little space for you to talk about something. I don't know what you're going to say, but why are the Chicago White Sox your number one choice?
It's that South Side on the front of the jersey. And we talked about the Wrigleyville and like the South Side little, am I being hypocritical? I don't think so. The South Side is a part of Chicago. It is the South Side of Chicago. Wrigleyville is not a part or a big town. I mean, it's a little town. I mean, by the stadium. But South Side, it's the South Side mentality that we're rocking with. It's South Side or die. It's on the front of the jersey. It's the white pinstripes on the black jersey and the black pants, the sick black hat. All black is sick. I'm telling you, Zidane, if we do another blackout, we will wear those jerseys. The whole stadium will be black. The night sky will be black, and Tim Anderson will hit a walk-off in those jerseys, or at least play well, because that's what will happen. Again, we're not going to have another game 163, but if we were to have a blackout game, which I think is pretty cool, that would be a very interesting event. Obviously, you couldn't do a whiteout because of the baseball, but I think that would be really awesome. And wear those jerseys. I mean, I'll open up my phone right now. It's Tim Anderson as my lock screen, throwing the bat. He is Chicago. He's the face of the White Sox, and there's nobody I would want more to rep those jerseys than Tim Anderson. That's my little spiel there on that. At that, the reason for the number one pick for the City Connect jerseys, and we hope to do this again next year. I mean, 7 more next year, whatever, 8 more next year, however many come out next year. We'll definitely be rating those. But tonight, Zidane, it is Max Kranick versus Carlos Rodon in Game 2 of the 2-game set with the Pirates. Rodon experiencing some velocity drops, especially on his fastball. But we're excited tonight. We're going to sit down. It's currently 6:22. Game starts just under an hour. And we're excited. We'll be back next week. I think what we'll probably do is I'm going to have to talk this over with you, Zidane, but how we're going to do it, if we're going to do it this weekend, I think we'll shout it out on Twitter. But again, that's it. Again, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, follow those, watch on those. Again, clips on TikTok if I'm not lazy and if I post it. But yeah, Sox and Pirates tonight. Hopefully we can sweep this 2-game set, and then we have an off day. Then we go to Kansas City, and that Friday game is being announced by Adam Amin and Stacey King, the Chicago Bulls announcers. Zidane clearly does not know that that was a thing, but Zidane, that is awesome. Talk about that for actually 2 seconds, because Adam Amin is one of the best announcers in the Chicago. They're blessed with announcers. I'm not really fond of the Cubs announcers, but Stacey King and Adam Amin are a hilarious duo, and they're going to be announcing the Friday game. I think I'm going to be a little bit busy, but hopefully I can catch the end of that. But that's going to do it for this episode, and we're going to put this out right now. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.